And now, a brand new episode of the Script to Screen News Hour here on Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM with hosts Alan Mahana and Had Solo. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Script to Screen News Hour here on Radio Lebanon 96.2 FM. I'm your host, Alan Mahana, and joining me, as always, is the solo to my Chewbacca, Had Solo.
Hi, Alan. How are you?
I'm good. It's Script to Screen News Hour, so
yes, it is.
Can't be complaining. Today's episode is a special episode that we're doing. We've literally decided to dedicate it to the Lebanese filmmaker Nadine Labaki due to the fact that her most recent film has been released in Lebanese cinemas this week, Capaharnaüm. Yep. So we decided to give her this amazing episode to talk with her about the film, to talk with her about what it's like being a Lebanese filmmaker, the journey that she took on to produce this film. There's
a lot of pride in today's episodes.
There is, absolutely.
Lebanon has so many issues going on right now, politically and economically and so on. And there are few things we can look up to and that make us hopeful. And I think Nadine Labaki is one of those things, that person who can do that, who can elevate Lebanese cinema on the map, put it on the map worldwide for everyone to enjoy, for everyone to watch. And I couldn't be happier to have such an episode dedicated to such an artist, a phenomenal artist who's Lebanese today.
Exactly. Yeah. It's amazing. And though the film does not elevate itself thematically or in its ambience or the truth that it's trying to say, though the film itself does not elevate, the conversation will. And being able to, like you said, dedicate an entire episode to a Lebanese filmmaker is a special thing. It's a very special thing. So let's not waste too much time here. Let's jump into the movie of the week, which does happen to be Nadine Labaki's Capaharnaüm, which we were able to see earlier this week during the Lebanese Film Festival, which was a huge success as well.
Fantastic festival.
Great fun, amazing filmmakers, Lebanese, whether it be Lebanese locally or internationally. Just a great celebration of Lebanese cinema. So we were able to see the film and have a Q&A with Nadine after she gave a Q&A after the film.
She was present.
I was lucky enough to be able to see the film twice. Yes. It was the Lebanese Film Festival and then previously during the press screening. So what do you think?
What do I think?
Let's start like digging deep into this movie because you can do so much with it.
I think we can spend a couple of hours talking about this movie. Unfortunately, we don't have that time, but it deserves to be seen. I think everyone should, by default, go watch this film because it's going to hit you emotionally. It's going to hit you mentally. It's going to make you think about a lot of things. And it doesn't necessarily have to apply just to Lebanon. It can apply to anywhere around the world. Now, technically, the movie is very well made, if we want to cover that part. So great directing, a very good editing. There's something I wanted to say in my review, which we talked about, and I wasn't able to tackle, which was the music by Khaled Mzanna, which is subtle.
This man scores.
Fantastic, really. It was very subtle. It was very nicely done, and he knew when not to put music and to emphasize on the scenes and the actors. These non-professional actors who actually come from that background, from poor families from Zayn, the star of the film, is a Syrian refugee. What a performance.
Oh, man.
You'd be saying this kid has been acting for like years.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's his first experience.
And that's the thing. I don't think he was acting. And that's kind of something that I picked up on. And you know, he was just there. He was present in every scene, in every frame, in every moment, via his character arc. I mean, this kid delivered on all counts. Yep. One of the things, that struck with me the most is that how Capaharnaüm is really an allegory about the abusive current state of affairs in Lebanon in and of itself. Although the story is about this 12-year-old kid who is essentially suing his parents for even bringing him into this world.
True.
In a lot of ways, I almost feel like the film is actually talking about how Lebanese people in general feel towards the government per se, and how we feel somewhat abandoned. There is this kind of interesting parallel. I also love the fact that the film did not shy away from its darkness. It showed us the painful truth.
It sticks to it.
And it does so in a very aggressive way. I almost feel like, in my review, I wrote that, you can really see Nadine's anger in this movie. You can see the aggressive, enraged way she's looking at this kind of situation. Although she's looking at it in Lebanon, again, this is a global problem, with the refugee crisis and even outside of the refugee crisis, just, countries where children do tend to be abandoned or neglected. This is kind of, this is a very angry look at this situation.
Yeah. And what I also really enjoyed, or like not enjoyed, but what I noticed in the movie specifically is, without giving too much away, Zayn is mistreated by his parents and lives in total desperation. And at one point, he has to take care of himself. Yeah. And then you start wondering, is he slowly starting to become like them? Yeah. He keeps on fighting and fighting, but then there's a point where, does the system force you to become like these parents? And that was a very interesting parallel.
The father essentially echoes this in the court scene. He kind of says, this is what the world made me.
Yeah, this is it.
This is what the world made me. I didn't choose to do this. I didn't choose to become this. This is what the world made me. It's very interesting. I also think we should give a huge kind of applause or a tilt of the head or a tilt of the hat to the cinematographer of the film, Christopher Owen, who is Lebanese. He studied outside of Lebanon. Christopher Owen, or if anybody who's listening knows him, we would love to have him on the show just to talk about his career. The level of realism that he uses, that he gives us with his camera work, the handheld nature, it's very documentary, though it is not a documentary. I love this push and pull of bringing us close to the action and then taking us completely far away. It almost, in my review, I kind of wrote that it is kind of, it's a parallel to how we kind of sometimes want to be ignorant to the truth. Yeah. You move yourself away, you distance yourself away. And I love how Christopher does this with his camera, which again goes to show how much of a team effort this entire movie was. It seems like everybody behind the scenes was in sync, from the music to the acting, to the direction, to the camera work, to the edit. Just brilliant movie on all counts. It is rather long.
Some people are saying that, but it didn't bother me.
Again, I saw it twice. It didn't bother me the second time. So, and I'm glad that you saw it the first time and the length didn't bother you.
No, it was
did you feel at any point where you're like, okay, can we end the scene? Did you have this?
No, because especially after the movie with the Q&A where someone asked Nadine, or she was specifically answering about letting Zayn do what he wants to do and going with that and maybe building on that. and it works, and it didn't bother me. The scene where Zayn is running away where his sister is being taken away, and he runs after her. That was sort of improvised. They just let him run and go with it. So why not? If it serves the movie, look, you can watch a movie that's 30 minutes and feel that it's 7 hours long because it's so boring, and you can watch a 3-hour movie and feel that it passes by in 15 minutes
really quickly.
So that kind of happened with me in CAPHARNAÜM, and it was an emotional roller coaster ride. You take tissues with you, people. Take Kleenex, take toilet paper. I don't know, and wipe your tears, because it's a very emotional movie, and I want to just a special shout out to the lady, the Ethiopian lady who plays Rahil in the movie. She also does a fantastic job.
Amazing job. Amazing
and the little baby Jonas is just
Jonas is
adorable.
a highlight.
Adorable.
It's interesting. The film is a really nice balance between you got some humor filled, I can't figure out the wording, but you got those lighthearted moments, and then you've got the agony and the pain, and it's this complete push and pull. Again, it's this push and pull between the happy moments and the darker moments, and thankfully the film's ending makes the entire journey worthwhile. A fantastic ending. I gave the film a 4.5 over 5.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10, again on the same page.
For people just listening, it's not like Nadine's previous movies. It's not like Caramel.
No, not at all.
It's not in that. If you're going to expect that, like a very happy kind of, no, it's not. There's a lot of misery. There's a lot of.
It is a tough movie.
Hard movie to watch.
But go watch it.
But yeah, definitely go watch it and spread the word.
So
I'm very, very excited right now.
I think this is the first time I've ever been starstruck.
Oh, me too. That makes two of us.
And the funny part is that who we're getting starstruck over isn't even with us in the studio, but it's crazy having the opportunity to talk to someone of this caliber, of this talent, of this grace. Is there even any more words that we can use to describe?
Let me open my thesaurus 1 second and look at amazing words.
Amazing
fantastic.
filmmakers, amazing storytellers. It's been. Let's see. We've been witnessing her rise for the past decade.
Absolutely.
With great films that have graciously put Lebanon on the map.
True. Very true.
Beautiful stories. Beautiful characters.
Yep.
Not only is she a filmmaker, though, she's also an actress.
Yes.
So, I mean, and now recently a mom. So she's essentially the perfect trinity.
She does it all.
Yeah. So, okay, we're done introducing her, complimenting her. So why don't we have her join us now?
Yeah.
Please help us welcome the amazing,
the fantastic
Nadine Labaki.
Yes.
Wow. I'm so humbled, Johnny. I'm turning red. Thank you so much for every word.
Thank you for your film.
When you use the word starstruck, it's starstruck. I think I feel like you're talking about someone else.
Well, I mean. I mean, listen, the U.S. has the likes of Ava DuVernay and Patty Jenkins, and we have Nadine Labaki.
Yeah.
So it's
we're blessed to have Nadine
Labaki. Exactly.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And we can't wait to see where your future films and stories lead as well. I mean, it's crazy. So you're here today after having won an award at Cannes, the jury prize at Cannes, with this film that I'm trying to say as little as possible, but Capaharnaüm is just it's stellar. It's so beyond stellar. It's a film that is so real, so grounded in an ugly truth. I think that we try to ignore, we try to pretend that it's not there, and you were able to force us to see it in a very, very beautiful way. So can we talk about your journey to coming to this film? Like how it came to be?
I think like everyone else, I'm not the only one concerned with everything that's happening in the region and more specifically in the country. I think that the way the world is going is not really the most ideal. And I think I'm not the only one concerned. And that what's happening around us, what's happening with all these communities that are completely excluded from the system, whether it's children or their parents or migrant workers or refugees or, all these communities that are now completely marginalized and that are almost invisible because, most of them don't have papers even that prove that they exist. So they don't have the right to anything, no right to education, no right to even being hospitalized if something happens to them, no right to work, no right to travel. They just end up being hanging, on the margins of our lives and our societies and end up being completely invisible. And I'm not the only one, I think, concerned about this problem. The only difference is maybe I tried to, this time to turn my anger into something maybe more positive, feeling that I don't want to be just frustrated about what's happening. I don't want to be just frustrated when I see a child that is, 3 to 4 years old, spending his days on the streets, under the sun, under the rain, begging for money. I just decided that I was going to somehow live up to the responsibility that I have towards them, because I'm also part of the reason. And I just want to try to understand why. Why did we end up accepting and allowing this injustice toward these kids, toward these communities? How come the humankind has accepted this site that is becoming a site that is part of our daily life? So I just wanted to know more. And what happens to this kid when I turn around and he turns around and he disappears around the corner? Where does he go? Who is he? How does he feel towards us? What is his what's his point of view on all what's happening to him? So I decided to become his voice as much as I can.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful gift that storytellers get, and as someone who is an aspiring screenwriter, this idea of understanding and giving a voice to those who don't have a voice, it's always been something that it's been part of how I write. So it's amazing to hear someone who of your professional caliber say the same thing. So I'm like, okay, good. So I'm thinking the right way, and doing with my stories what I can. And it's a very interesting thing how we storytellers try to put ourselves in the other's shoes, and try to understand. And I like that you use the word understand what they're going through, what they're feeling, what they're even saying to a certain degree.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was the initial start of this whole adventure, wanting to know more. So we started doing some research. I mean, we spent the last 4 years doing research.
Yeah, because it's been a long journey with this film.
Yes, it's been a long journey. It started, I think, in 2014. I'm not exactly sure, but it started. Yes, the whole. Yeah, it was, the writing process was in parallel with all the research. So every time we would go somewhere, learn things, know things, see certain situations, we would come back and integrate them in the story. So I wanted the story to be I didn't want to feel like I was intervening as a filmmaker in these stories. I didn't want to feel like these stories are fantasized. And I just wanted to be as close to the reality as possible, because for me, it's the only way to convey the real message, to convey the truth, was to be able to just reflect what's happening in real life as much as I can. Of course, there's a fiction that is written, and there's a story,
of course,
and there's a climax and all that, but and there's a sort of a small fantasized portion of it, with this court and this complaint that this kid,
right.
Because in real life, you can't really file a complaint against your parents because your parents are your guardians.
Yeah.
And in real life, you cannot, when you're a minor, you have to have a guardian to be able to file a complaint, and the whole system does not allow it. So this is the only fantasy in the film. This the only thing that is a bit symbolized, but the rest is really something.
It is very grounded in reality.
Detail is very grounded in reality and inspired by everything these kids told us. And most of the time, when I used to come to the point where I would ask them at the end of the conversation, "Are you happy to be alive?" 99% of these kids tell you, "No, I'm not happy to be here. I don't want to belong in your world. I don't know why I'm punished. I don't know why I don't eat when I'm hungry. I don't know why I have to be, abused, raped, why I have to hear those words, why?" It's the why is something, and they ask you this question with so much anger, and because they don't understand why. They didn't ask to be here. They have the feeling that they're paying for something that they didn't do. They're being punished for something. And these kids they didn't even ask to exist.
Yeah.
So all this was really the inspiration to have these kids go into court and say out loud, "Why did you bring me to this world if you're not going to give me my most, my smallest basic rights and needs?"
I mean, it
all started like this.
It's a powerful scene. The court scene is definitely a powerful scene.
My question to you, Nadine, is I want to go back a few months back to Cannes. The importance of winning that prize, of reaching more people with the things you've been talking to us about now, the importance of getting the message out there for people to see how these children suffer. And I think it's not just a story which I would assume applies in Lebanon, but would apply anywhere in the world.
Exactly. It's something that is happening in every big city in the world. This is a problem that is no more just a Lebanese problem. With the refugee crisis around the world and this, the economical crisis around the world, you can see this anywhere. You can see this in LA. You can see this in France. You can see this in London. You can see in every big city of the world. This is not just specifically Lebanese. It's the future of humanity, and we have to be aware of the immensity of the problem. It's not what you see in the film is even the reality is much, much harsher than what you see in the film, and the people are already feeling it's too shocking, it's too much. But reality is harsher than what you see. The problem, the neglect and the suffering that these people and these kids go through is in the film. It's nothing to compare to what it really is.
Yeah.
We saw. It's impossible. It's even sometimes impossible to describe. Those kids have lost completely their humanity, their childhood, everything. That you see kids that don't have any more expression in their eyes. They've been through so much abuse and so much neglect. Some of them, don't even play. They don't play. They don't cry. They don't laugh. They don't talk. They're just numb. We've taken everything. We've taken their humanity. So it's not one case or two cases. It's thousands of cases of children that are going through this. Some children are not even, they're born, they died. Nobody knows because, of course, they're not declared. So nobody knows they even exist. And nobody knows the hardship they go through. Nobody knows the abuse they go through. So they die from neglect. They die from abuse. They die because nobody was at home when he jumped out the window, or when he tripped on I don't know what and he fell from the rooftop, or when he fell on the stairs, or when he got electrocuted, or when he put his house on fire. Or these stories are not it's not a movie. This is happening every day. Every day it's happening by the hundreds, and we don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows because they don't exist.
Yeah.
So the problem is huge, and I don't know if we're aware that these kids are going to become adults one day. And what's going to happen?
And this is where the danger lies. I think this is where the danger lies, is that they're going to grow up, and these kids are going to grow up numb, without any childhood experience as a child. That they're being asked to grow up, I think, way too fast. Let me ask you another question from a filmmaker's perspective. So, you've been known to work with to have non-actors really as part of your cast. So the first question is, how is that experience as a filmmaker working with non-actors? Because it is very, Italian neorealist to have non-actors be your leading cast. That's the first question. And the second being, how has motherhood changed you as a filmmaker?
Working with non-actors is the most rewarding thing for me. I'm not saying it. I'm not against actors at all. On the contrary, but in my method, in the way I like to work, I find there's so much challenge in just trying to. I have a small problem with the word acting. When in the way I work is, I'm just asking them to be. I'm not asking them to act. I'm just asking them to be who they are in this certain situation, to bring their life, their perspective, their experience, their suffering, their whatever, their own story. Each one comes with his own story and puts everything in the film. So it's not... Because maybe, I don't know, I want to believe in what I'm saying. I want to believe in my story. I don't want to feel like I'm intervening as a filmmaker or as a writer in what you see. I don't want to feel like I'm sort of...
forcing your perspective on the audience. Yeah,
yes,
okay.
Or forcing my perspective. I just need to believe in what I'm doing. And this is the way for me. That's why... it was very, very important for me that I choose people from life that have a similar experience. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, but it's a similar experience in the way that they understand it. They understand what they're saying. They understand why they're doing a certain scene and who they are in it. It's not becoming somebody else to play the part. It's really being that person.
I have a huge smile on my face hearing you say this right now. It's not even funny. It's like I am like on cloud 9 hearing the way you're describing this. It's so great.
And the second question about motherhood, I think motherhood gave me the maturity to understand maybe things more, or children more. It's not because I'm a mother that I am drawn to the subject. I don't think so. I think anyone, even people who don't have children, are as much, I think, moved by these themes or these situations. I don't think it's the fact that I'm a mother, but the fact that I'm a mother gave me the maturity, because there's so much also parallelism between my own life also and with what's happening in the film. The fact that at the same time, my daughter was the same age that Jonas is in the film. I was breastfeeding my baby as she was breastfeeding her baby. Knowing that subject so well and so deeply gives you the capacity to tell it very truthfully. It's because also it is something I am also going through. So it gives you the maturity, and it also definitely gives you a different perspective on life. You see things differently. You start looking at the world differently. You somehow want the world to be a better place for your children.
Yeah, that so sense of idealism, I think,
and this anger comes from this also, because you can't help but compare. When you see a child that is almost the same age as your own child, you cannot help but being completely, helpless and hopeless, and you don't know where to start, and you don't know how to help, and you don't know, because you identify. I mean, you see your kids in those kids. You see your own kids, and you start comparing. So it's for sure. It's only normal, I think, that you become more. I don't know. You have a different perspective on things.
Yeah.
Well, last year we had The Insult, which was the first Lebanese movie to be nominated for an Oscar, and this year we have your movie that won the Prix du Jury. How do you see Lebanese cinema evolving, developing? What's your take on that?
I think it's developing at a very, very fast pace. And I think we started, a few years ago, we were doing our first steps, and, we trip, and you can't really walk, or run very quickly. But now
we were doing the Bambi dance on ice. Yes, that's what we were doing.
Exactly. I think now Bambi is dancing on ice. It's really, I'm very, very happy with what's happening, and I'm sure it's only the start, and people are more drawn to Lebanese cinema, more interested. They know that there are good films coming from this part of the world, and there are more and more filmmakers that really, and the fact that we have things to say, that is very, very important because of everything that the country is going through. I think every film that a filmmaker does is really something that they're doing, like it's a war, like they're doing it with everything they have. And it's a completely different approach to films. It's not just a film. Like, we feel like every film we're doing is like our
it's a piece of us. Yeah, it's a huge piece of us.
And it's our lives on the line almost. It's like you're going to war. So it's a different, and people feel it, and it's a different intention. It's a different essence. It's not like we can do a film every day and you're just doing a film.
Because we don't have the studio system here, so it's literally every breath that we take has to be dedicated to making the film. Every penny that we make has to be dedicated to.
And this is something that people feel, a viewer feels. It's something that is beyond, like, our secret codes. People feel it, and this is something I've always felt with my own movies. In spite of the fact that, okay, the quality of the film might not be the best, or I'm not saying it's a masterpiece, and I'm sure everybody, I mean, we all know there's millions of flaws in all the films, but there's something beyond the film, the quality of the film, that reaches people, and it's really how this film was done, and people feel it without really saying anything. It's a special connection. It's a secret connection, a special bond that you make with your audience, and they really feel your intention.
And I think because
in spite of the quality of the film.
I think it's also because of the fact that we're so limited in our resources, the film becomes something that is a personal stake for us, which the audience ends up feeling.
Exactly.
So what's the path for CAPHARNAÜM now?
It's going to be released later on in France, and then in the States.
So it will have a release in the States?
Yes, 14th of December.
That is, wow, look at that. This is smart marketing. Like December, Christmas time, go watch this movie. Watch this movie and get in touch with your humanity for a change.
I hope. And then in November, it's going to be in France. And then later, all the other countries will follow after the States, I think.
This is great news. This is such great news.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Yeah.
So Nadine, we have this thing at Script to Screen where me and Alan, at the end of each show, recommend a movie or a soundtrack or a series to our listeners. So what would you recommend to the screeners that are out there?
now?
It can be old, it can be new.
Yeah, it could be any time period, so it's not limited.
Apart from my own film.
Apart from
we'll probably be recommending that ourselves.
Yes, I should be recommending that, right? Something that is out there in Lebanon, or not specifically in Lebanon?
No. I mean, it doesn't have to be in the movies at the moment. It could have been an older film. It could be a recent film. A film that you think someone will enjoy. If you were to recommend a movie.
Let me think now. I have to think about it. There's nothing on the top of my mind now. I'm a big fan of Iranian, the Iranian school of filmmaking. So I would recommend a good Iranian film, but which one? Probably, I don't know, probably Separation, maybe.
Yeah.
Separation is a great film.
Great.
Fantastic.
Awesome. That's awesome. Nadine, I want to thank you so much for giving us, I know your busy schedule. I know it's like chaos for you right now. But I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us on the show. I think you gave us some beautiful insight, not just into CAPHARNAÜM, but as your craft as a filmmaker and a storyteller. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for your, support and your encouragement. It all helps, because, we feel very fragile at this stage when the film is starting to be seen by the public, and it doesn't, it's not yours anymore in a way. And I think when I have reactions like this, it gives me wings, really. So thank you.
Well, thank you again. And everyone, CAPHARNAÜM is screening now in Lebanese cinemas.
Yep.
You can go check it out, which you should. Nadine, we're going to thank you again.
Thank you
one more
very,
time.
very much. It was a fantastic talk with you, and please keep doing what you're doing, because we need more people like you. We really do.
Agreed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a wonderful, wonderful day.
You too. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
What an awesome person.
Wow, she's so sweet and so humble and so down to earth. It was such an easy conversation.
It literally felt like she was here with us right now, even though she was over the phone.
Yeah, it wasn't an interview. It was a conversation.
It was a conversation. You know what?
Three cinema lovers.
Screen lives up to what it proclaims to be a non-toxic, critical look at cinema. Conversations are going. This is what Script to Screen is about, and it makes me so happy that we were able to share this with Nadine.
Yeah.
Really, it really does.
Definitely
it really does.
One of the highlights of what we've been doing so far.
This new evolution.
Yeah.
You were going to say season, weren't you?
I thought about it.
You were
but
so close to saying
didn't.
season. Oh, man. I am so on a high after this conversation.
Yeah, that was...
I'm just like, I cannot believe we've had an A-list filmmaker on Script to Screen.
I feel like
May they be many more.
I want to go make a movie.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Come on. The show's over. Let's done. We're out.
Action, lights, the camera.
We're out of here. Well, I mean, we do put on a performance every Saturday, Friday and Saturday on this show. I think that's why we are getting more and more popular, as you will, with listeners from Sweden and Germany.
And Brazil.
They're up to 2 now.
Yes.
The UK, the US of A. We don't know you, but thank you for listening to us.
Arigato.
We don't have anyone from that end of the spectrum, but someday. So we really do want to thank you guys, whoever has been listening to us on Spotify, on podcast, Apple Podcasts, on NewsHour, Overcast, Player FM, Podchaser. I mean, the list can go on. Thank you. Really, thank you so much. You guys are the reason why we do the show. And those of you who tune in live, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Those of you that tune in live, we love you as well. We love you the mostest.
Yeah.
You are the reason why we do the show. You are the reason why we love doing the show, where we're here every Friday and Saturday. In the middle of the day, talking movies, talking TV shows, talking musical scores, doing what we love to do and sharing it with all of you guys. So I just wanted to take that quick moment to throw out that big, massive thank you.
I second that big time. I mean, I'm not going to add a lot to that, but we would not be here if it wasn't for everyone out there.
Yep.
So thank you.
We are working on script to screen merchandise very soon.
Yep.
So any of you who are massive fans, you can always, we'll tell you how to get a hold of those as well. From mugs to stickers to t-shirts, the list can go on. There's a lot of stuff that you can buy with our logo on it. Pillows, maybe, I don't know. No, there are actual pillows with script to screen. It's really fun, actually. Baby onesies, like a script to screen baby. Who knows?
Why not?
So let's basically get to our recommendations real quick.
Don't you want to
our box office.
Quickly.
Yeah. Our box office quickly.
Like very quickly. We won't have time to really dig into that. But at number 5 this week, you have the Egyptian film Al Badla, which accumulated 3,253 entries and has a total of almost 37,000 entries.
Awesome. Knock out the rest, Had.
Okay, I'm gonna go for number 4. A very weak kind of beginning for The Predator. The Predator just had 4,611 entries in its first week. Surprisingly, A Simple Favor did much better.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing a lot of people on social media actually went and saw the film.
And they're saying good things about it. So that's the one with Anna Kendricks and Blake Lively.
Yep.
And it's at 5,388 entries for its first week. In first place, you have Alpha.
Still.
Yep. Alpha.
Well done.
Alpha actually started from the 4th one. Yeah. So 4, 3, 2, 1. I skipped the 5th one.
Oh, okay.
So but the first one is Alpha.
Okay.
And it has accumulated 5,296 entries this week and has a total of 17,593.
Well, Alpha seems to have been a serious contender.
Yep.
This box office week.
Yeah, and it's only been out for 2 weeks.
Let's see what this next week brings us with Capaharnaüm being out there. So
I want to see it number 1 next week.
Yes, we need to make this film a number 1 box office in its own home country.
Yeah, for a while, not 1 week.
Yeah, I mean, if the insult could last, I think it lasted for 4 or 5 weeks in the number 1 spot, and then it started going down. If the insult can do it, so can Capaharnaüm. So everybody go and watch it. We want to make sure that Nadine Labaki's film succeeds in this country, not just internationally.
Absolutely.
Thank you for carrying that segment.
I tried.
It completely, I'm still taken by the interview. Yeah. I'm not focused.
It's fine. I'm
just not.
So what's your recommendation?
Okay, so my recommendation this week, although both you and I we clearly recommend go watch Capaharnaüm.
Yeah.
My recommendation this week comes from I watched this film last night. I was at our friend in common, Yumna Nelfel's place. Yep. We had kind of an improvised movie night, and we ended up watching Snowpiercer with Chris Evans and Tilda Swinton and Ed Harris and John Hurt from 2015. Wow. What a movie.
Yep.
I was floored by the production value. I mean, the whole movie happens on a train. So talk about confined space, talk about not a lot of, extreme long shots and all that stuff. Some of the action sequences were insane. The mise en scène, the storyline, the narrative was so dark and so twisted. It's so good. It's also been rumored they're currently in pre-production, I think, for the TV series, which is supposed to be a prequel TV series for the movie. I'm a big fan. For me, the one who stole the show, though, Tilda Swinton, by far. Her performance, amazing.
Yeah. Nice,
you?
Nice. I'm going to stay local, and I want to promote, recommend a Lebanese film, and I'm going to an older one, which is West Beirut.
Nice.
Which is from 1998 by Ziad Douaidi.
Yes.
And it's a really, really good movie about this kid who just wants to shoot movies with a Super 8 camera, and it happens to take place during the war, and talks about East and West Beirut because it was divided that way. It manages to be very funny, despite having a very war and dark topic. It's very well made. I think it's one of the first big Lebanese movies that went out there and people started to talk about.
I would agree.
So Ziad, I guess, kicked that off, and then we're very lucky to have people like Nadine today.
Of course.
But do watch it. It is a very nice movie. It is very well made. It's fun, but it makes you think. It makes you ask a lot of questions. And if people have questions about what happened during the Lebanese war, how did it kick off and start, you will have certain answers.
That's a nice kind of perspective on the war, definitely. It also makes me want to have Mr. Dwayne himself on our show eventually, one day. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in every week. Hopefully you're enjoying our twice a week kind of show schedule with Fridays and Saturdays. If you want to follow me on social media, you can do so at Alan Mahana. And if you want to follow Had, you can do so at
Had.solo.
Of course. On our social media, you'll be able to access our giveaways, ticket giveaways, merchandise giveaways, our reviews. Had does a beautiful review in 60 seconds. It's a talent for you to do this in 60 seconds.
That's hard.
I don't even know. I mean, my reviews are getting longer and longer the more I write.
Yeah.
The Capaharnaüm review is like almost 900 words. You summed it up in 60 seconds. I don't know how you do it. It's great. I love it. You can, if you want to listen to us, you can do so on
Spotify and Rami, Apple, iTunes. We're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So just script to screen.
If you want to listen to us, you do so on Apple Podcasts and Rami, as Had said, Spotify, Podbean, Podchaser. But we also have videotaped versions of our episodes on the U of Tube, where you can actually see the entire interview and see how animated we are.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for joining us today. Make sure you join us next Friday for a brand new episode of Script to Screen Spotlight, and next Saturday for another brand new Script to Screen new.
We have a special episode next Saturday.
Next Saturday is a special. We don't have a NewsHour next Saturday because Had is traveling to Germany. So, but we do have an awesome episode planned for you guys. It's our first Script to Score episode, and we'll be tackling the amazing, fantastical, legendary, galactical music of Star Wars, composed by the fantastic John Williams. So make sure you tune in next week. It's a very different format next week, but it'll be fun. We hope you guys enjoy it.
Very musical.
Very, very musical indeed. So thank you guys for joining us again. See you for a NewsHour. See you in 2 weeks. For the NewsHour, see you in 2 weeks.
Friday.
Yeah. So cue the credits. We are out of here. Have a great weekend.